It's Mr. Gone here. I'm going to walk you through the voice tutorial this time since everyone likes to complain about how I move too fast. My tutorials I always figured were for intermediate to advanced people. Today we're going to cover Afterburn once and for all. I animated this and rendered it, I don't know how long ago now, but you see it has a little bit of an Afterburn rocket in there. Now the reason I'm showing you this one is not for any other reason but to show you this rocket exploding. I'm going to show you how to get an explosion and how to make your Afterburn look smooth as it flies through the air. Alright, so that's what we're going to cover today. And I'm going to do it with the voice, and we're going to use Camtasia zoom-ins and stuff, and hopefully this will be the definitive rocket guy thing, Afterburn. Rock and roll. So we have that, and now we have Studio Max 9. What we're going to do first is create a line to give the rocket a path to follow. Alright, now we have that. We can go in and tweak it a little bit. Don't forget to look at all your different viewports. Very, very important. Because a rocket doesn't just go straight into it. Well, I guess it could, but it's way more fun if you give it some angles to work with. Like this. So now if we looked at this rocket straight on, the white line signifies the path the smoke will be on. It's a lot of fun looking. Alright, so we have our path. Alright, good. I'm going to change the color of it so it's a little bit more visible for you. First, I'm going to create a dummy, which you can find here under the helpers menu. The reason I created dummy is because we're going to have the dummy is actually what's going to ride the path. We go to animation, constraints, and path constraint. Because I don't want to actually tamper with the sphere I'm going to use to emit the particles. Just take that. And now if we see, it automatically fills in for you the default time on your timeline here. It sets 2 keyframes. One at the beginning, one at the end. Just click and drag that. That's where our rocket will be going. I can take this line and stretch it out even more. Add more speed because it's covering a greater distance in a shorter amount of time. I'm sure we all know about Newton. If you don't read up on him, he was a maniac. And even still, we could make that greater. So what the dummy here signifies is where the rocket will be at any given time. And when it reaches the 100th frame, we will have it blow up. Maybe we'll even put a wall in there or something for it to collide with. I'm not sure yet. It's going to take a little bit of time, so I might have to break this up because YouTube is now constraining you to 10-minute blocks. So if we run out of time, I'll cut it short and pick up where we left off in part two. But for right now, let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna create a geosphere, standard primitives. I'm gonna give it a radius of 1. Segments count will be 1 also. What I'll do is I'll link it to the dummy, and then I will align it to the dummy's position in 3 dimensions. So now what happens is that's now linked, and it will follow the path along with the dummy. All right, the what we'll do now is we'll go to the rendering. Well, you could actually hit 8 on your keyboard, or close that. You could go to rendering and bring up the environment tabs, environment panel. And we'll go to add, and of course you must already have After Effects or Afterburn installed. So we'll add that. Okay, first we'll build a power or a particle flow system. Particle systems, PF source. What you do is you just click and drag that out. That creates your basic tree. If you hit particle view, you get your basic layout. I'm not gonna do any of that. I do shortcuts with everything. It saves a lot of time. I just delete that and I press 6 on the keyboard. That came up because we did the other way the first time. What I want to do is drop in an empty flow, a birth, and I want to connect those. And because we want the birth to emit from that geosphere we created, right? Position object. It's none. Right now we'll add by list. Geosphere 1. What you should do is get in the habit of renaming everything. So I don't want to teach you bad habits. Uh, particle emitter. And if I spell things wrong, please cut me some slack. I'm dyslexic. I'm good with software, not writing. All right, so we have trail 01, and dummy can stay dummy. Okay, so now we have the particle emitter selected. The birth, this is simple. You know, it starts at 0, it ends at 30. We want to change that to 100 because we don't want the rocket to run out of fuel at 30 frames. That would be stupid. And the amount will be 200. We'll play with that. That's definitely going to go up, but we'll see how many particles we get in the meantime. And change what they look like. Dots. And change that white so it's easier. If you see in here, you see that these particles are really, really spaced out. We don't need anything that looks that crummy. That's how you get the other After Effects tutorials looks, where everything looks all balled up and just terrible. Not After Effects, Afterburn. I'm sorry, After Effects is on my mind. I just got done that floor bugs uh, video that I did. You can check that out at my thing on YouTube. But you know that already if you're watching this.